Streaming Umineko. I don't care.
We are streaming Umineko. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We were having a very enlightening conversation, which is why I forcibly shoved us into the stream.
Make sure you don't forcibly pull too hard. You might hurt the skin.
Oh god, we can't show that opening anymore. We can't show the opening anymore.
Why not?
Why do you think?
Copyright or spoilers?
No, it's on Chiru, so it's ultra giga spoilers now.
Oh fuck! God damn it!
Right.
I can't.
Oopsies.
I can't
Just
wait.
edit it like you did last time.
Silver case isn't until tomorrow.
Silver case isn't until tomorrow.
Wait, what is a Chiru?
Chiru just means scattered.
Okay, but what is it? Like, it's another chapter?
It's just the question. It's essentially this is the answers arc, quote unquote.
Oh, this whole thing has been Chiru, part 5.
Yeah, part 5 to part 8 is Chiru.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Anyways.
This episode of Umineko has been brought to you by Rat.
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 I thought I was your local circumcision dealer.
Don't forget to wash the foreskin.
Erica, you're
Don't
looking
forget.
Erica's seat was the lowest one in rank.
At the end of
In other words, it was just at the inferior end of the table. Since Kenzo's seat at the high end of the table was empty, if you spun the whole thing around, it sort of looked like Erica was the host of this dinner. Well then, everyone, let's begin tonight's dinner, if I may. After Goto's announcement, dinner began with the applause that had become almost customary. Finally, beginning of the dinner orchestra conducted by Toshiro Goda. Except for Krause's household, sitting at such a majestic dinner table was no everyday thing for these people by any means. However, they were all used to this event and acted as though it was completely normal. Once again, if anyone was to be surprised, it should have been Erica. And yet she showed no signs of amazement at this dinner and acted with composure, blending in with everyone else. There wasn't even a sliver of fear one might expect from someone who had wandered here like a lost puppy.
What an odd child. She doesn't seem the least bit flustered by the Ushurumia family's grandest dinner of the year.
Kids these days sure have nerves of steel. Definitely not something I dislike.
I'm just...
Sorry. Wait, give me a second. Voice accent. Frodo-san meant to use such. Wait, let me pop out the box. Sorry, I was getting rid of some tabs and I have it on my tiny monitor. Is Frodo-san used to make meals such as this one? She seems to be quite composed. No kidding. She looks really experienced. Heck, I still get confused about which fork I'm supposed to use next. Was it this one or this one?
Without showing any confusion over the line of utensils in front of her, Erica gracefully ate her hors d'oeuvres. Yes, she just started joking around with her, gripping a fork in each hand. Because the president of a company in the food service industry like Hideyoshi obviously knew his table manners. However, thinking that Erica must be nervous over this dinner, he had intentionally spoken with a comic tone of voice. You just have to start on the outside and work your way in. If that's a pain, then just ask for some chopsticks. If you're Japanese, you've gotta love chopsticks. Chopsticks are so great! Just one pair of those and you can deal with any kind of food! As soon as she began talking about chopsticks, her eyes started glittering. The smile she now showed for the first time was far different from the dignity she displayed before, much like something you'd expect from someone her age.
But even you would use a spoon for curry and rice, wouldn't you?
Just make it a dumberry bowl. If there's anyone who eats beef bowls with a spoon? Of course not. For the Japanese, it's absolutely, positively, totally chopsticks. So, Goda-san, would you mind bringing me some chopsticks? I want to show everyone how a true Japanese person should eat without any shame. By the way, what are we even eating next?
Unfortunately, that would be soup.
As she imitated a shrugging gesture, Erica winked at everyone. Everybody laughing.
Hilarious.
Of course, no one was laughing at her. She obviously knew that the soup came after hors d'oeuvres and a full-course meal. Furthermore, Erica had noticed both that she'd been performing too perfectly, and creating a sense of tension, and that Hideyoshi had tried to break the ice because he thought she was nervous. That's why she started acting like a little childish and lighthearted, acting at the part of a guest, enjoying a harmonious dinner. Pretty soon, not only Kyrie but everyone else caught on. Though she was an uninvited guest, she was apparently worthy of participating in an Urshirimiya family dinner.
Smart kid. Did she really just come here by coincidence? Don't tell me you secretly called your illegitimate child to today's family conference, Nissan.
What? Are you still eating?
Moore's not here.
He's in the chat.
Oh yeah, he's right here.
Oh no, man, he's unmuting.
It seems she even has the smarts to brighten the mood.
Okay, you're in the car. Somebody else do it.
Wow.
Well, you asked me.
It's that. It seems that she even has the smarts to brighten the mood, and her manners are simply wonderful. It wouldn't be bad at all to have this girl as a daughter.
That's pretty cool. Where does that leave Jessica-chan?
That's mean, Rudolph Nissan.
What's wrong, Jessica-chan? Headache?
Ugh. I get the feeling my reputation's taking a dive.
Well, if you're a daughter of a head family, you better not let her beat you. Tries those table manners and dignity Aunt Natsuki is always training you with, and fight back.
I want to see table manners.
Hey, jumping around is bad manners. Come on, Jessica-chan. Show us how it's done.
Sure, of course.
Jessica straightened up so much, it looked like someone had poked her back with a pole. She had good posture, but it somehow lacked elegance. She looked, well, kind of like a triangle ruler. She had attention with her gaze fixed straight ahead, tried to bring her food to her mouth despite this, and failed miserably. Dad, who was sitting next to her, suddenly realized that something was up. What's wrong, Jessica-chan? Stomachache? Jessica turned bright red. Sorry, I can't help myself. We laughed our heads off. Jessica protested, still bright red. Natsuki scolded us for being too improper. Well, no matter how much I try to smooth it over, we are who we are. We couldn't pretend that any longer. So that laugh really did help us relax. We were so concerned about the guests getting nervous, we got even more nervous ourselves. I chatted from the center of this long table spread to both ends. And ultimately, the dinner went even more smoothly than usual. With some delicious cheese and coffee, our peaceful meal came to an end. Goto won unanimous acclaim and was praised for his skill by all present. After a short period of harmony following the meal, decided that we would return to the guest house. Normally, dinner tended to have a very dark atmosphere about it, and the adults would often keep the mood as they moved straight onto the family conference. However, perhaps because this year's dinner had been oddly peaceful, everyone decided to take a break, the adults included. After eating, taking a bath, and relaxing while watching TV, I wonder if they'll gather again in the mansion with all the rain and resume this high-tension family conference of theirs. I'd rather not think about it. Apparently, Aunt Ava was getting really worked up, trying to convince the rest of us to start the family conference right away. but it didn't look like many people agreed with her. Probably call it quits for the night. Since they had guest house duty, Goto-san and Kumasawa-san were chosen to guide us to the guest house. It's gotta be tough for Goto-san. After making and cleaning such an extravagant dinner, he also had a late night shift at the guest house. I heard that Kumasawa-san, old as she was, would be going to sleep soon. It seems that she was assigned a spare room.
Allow me to guide everyone to the guest house. Erika-san, my room has also been prepared for you.
Thank you very much.
Why not rest a bit? Are you sure you feel okay?
That's right. I totally forgot me. You nearly drowned and floated here, didn't you, Erika-chan? Probably be better off taking it easy and getting to bed early tonight.
I'm perfectly fine. On the contrary, I'm so nervous and excited that I doubt I could get any sleep.
Then let's play! Let's all play together! Let's play cards!
Maria latched onto her, giggling. The lack of restraint peculiar to youth was very much like Maria. However, we really should be concerned for Erika's physical condition right now.
Maria, why don't you play cards with us? Erika Onechan is tired.
I like cards too. Please let me join you after I've had a short break.
Alright!
Who is that?
As she passed through the lobby of the entrance hall, Erika stopped walking. When we saw that, what she was looking at, the rest of us also stopped.
Kumasawa?
Oh, that is the Golden Witch, Beatrice-sama.
The Golden Witch.
What are you doing, brats? Go and head back to the guest house. Dad, Kirie-san, Aunt Ava, Uncle Hideyoshi, and Aunt Rosal came over. The entire guest house party had gathered. However, Erika's gaze was captured by the portrait of the witch, and she simply stared at it for a while.
Shell, you're hot miking?
Deadly, come on. Yeah, he's pushed the duck, dude. Yeah. Supposedly Dad has stashed a hidden gold worth 20 billion yen. And the epitaph shows you where that gold's hidden. Perhaps it was too early for them to all disperse into their individual rooms. Because of the relatives who had returned to the guest house all gathered on the first floor, continuing their chat. The topic was the witch's epitaph, which Erika had taken an interest in.
It really is a fascinating riddle. He stuck it out in a place where anyone could see it, challenging our intelligence. I love that kind of challenge.
Well, you're surprisingly interested, Erika-chan. You like solving riddles or something?
Don't challenges like this seem interesting? It seems pretty clear that Kinzo-san wants us to use the epitaph to choose his successor.
When she said that, the adult stopped moving, and slowly turned to face Erika.
Why do you think that?
Aunt Ava spoke with a coaxing voice. Though every now and then there had been whispering among the relatives that whoever solved the epitaph's riddle might be given the family inheritance. This had been no more than wishful thinking, since such a thing had never been specifically stated. And yet, though she only read it once, this outsider's already reached that conclusion. How had she come to it? No, that's not the problem. If you solve the epitaph, you could become the next head. She was trying to make it sound like a wishful thinking, but an outright fact. So they closed it around Erika, asking why she was so sure.
It's fairly common for an extremely rich person to relinquish his or her wealth to the solver of some sort of riddle. Furthermore, Kinzo-san didn't publish the epitaph in a newspaper, but displayed it in his mansion. That means the riddle is directed at the people in this mansion.
You're right. Inside the mansion, there's no way for someone who could enter the mansion to solve it. Who can't enter the mansion to solve it. Maybe their grandfather's been challenging the people here.
Good. Well, though, Just by the simple fact that this epitaph is inside the mansion, it's possible to figure out that much. At first, this Furuto Erika girl seemed to be the fairly silent type. That apparently wasn't the case. As she grew excited by a challenge to a game of wits, she became much more talkative than I'd imagined.
I see. Well, it doesn't make any sense. An epitaph inside a mansion would be there so the people in that mansion could read it. Rosa. On?
Sorry, my dog was scratching his leg on the floor.
Uh-huh.
But can you really be so sure that the one who solves it will be given the headship too?
If the treasure gained by solving the riddle were something small, I wouldn't even have considered that.
B is apparently burb, so give it a moment, I suppose. Unless, I don't know, someone else will be curious for 5 minutes. It would appear the option is waiting.
1 second, please.
Oh, alright.
Okay.
That's right. No.
That's right.
That's right, Miss Erika Furude. I joke, don't actually continue that.
Imagine if he just did anyway.
Number 15.
That's right, Erika Furuda-san.
This is nothing compared to the challenge of Sephariah.
That's right.
There we go.
The hidden goal is 20 billion. You might consider that goal to be itself to be the wealth of the Ushirmiya family.
Inheriting something like that would be almost the same as inheriting the Ashurmiya family itself. In other words, this riddle of the gold's hiding place buried within the epitaph is nothing less than a way of selecting the de facto successor of the Ashurmiya family.
The idea that the one who solved the epitaph would be chosen as the successor had been passed around by some of the relatives for a while now. Ever since it had never been specifically announced, it was nothing more than an optimistic dream. Thinking this, they just had to abandon all consideration of this point until the details were made clear. Erika had clearly declared that this uncertain point was, in fact, true. If one of the relatives had said it, people would have thought that it to merely be an optimistic dream. However, when this was declared by a complete outsider, those words seemed even more credible. Evan remained silent for a while, slowly considering what those words implied.
Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Furuto Erika. What do you think, everyone?
I guess Khan is still doing something.
Well, shit.
So sorry to butt in. No.
So sorry to butt in.
We're not gonna make
Hold
Jessica
on.
a shy girl, god damn it.
I saw our mic moving. Con, you back?
Okay.
Oh.
Sorry to butt in. But my dad's the successor. Finding the gold would be one thing. But that doesn't mean you get to be the head, right?
Jessica thought that the treasure hunting part of the epitaph was really fun. However, she couldn't help but let her expression grow bitter once they started talking about undermining her father's position.
By using deductive reasoning based upon my theory, it seems likely that Kinzo-san doesn't want the successor, Krause-san, to inherit the position too smoothly.
Why's that?
Becoming the head of the Ashurmiya family, with all the vast wealth it entails, would mean gaining a great deal of influence in a political sense. So in a normal circumstance, the succession should be overseen rigorously, not letting any element of chance creep into the equation.
That's right. It happens a lot in those stories about Sengoku military commanders that my husband loves. When there are multiple candidates for the successor, it usually results in an internal squabble.
That's right. That's why it's important to clearly specify a successor so you can avoid any trouble. Sometimes there's even a purge of all the competing successors.
Since the Sengoku commander Hideyoshi admired, Toyotomi Hideyoshi made his son-in-law Hidetsugu commit seppuku. It is rumored that he might have done this to make Hideyori, who is his real son and born after Hidetsugu, his true heir. In other words, naming successor was a way to make it generally known that a single unique person would be acknowledged by everyone, and a way to remove any chance of another person becoming an opposing candidate.
Good. That's exactly right. The only purpose for an epitaph like that would be to cast doubt on Krausan's position as the successor. In other words, if Kinzo-san wanted Krausan to become the head smoothly, he'd have no reason to go out of his way and display something so dangerous for all to see.
That's right. If you spin the chessboard around, you could certainly say that. It would be odd if you handed over the position of the head normally, but only handed over the 20 billion yen in gold to the person who solves the riddle.
Kinzo would pass the title of family head, but he would only give up the 20 billion yen in gold to the person who solved the epitaph. You really couldn't call this passing on the headship in the truest sense.
That's how it is. By this theory, we are able to doubt whether Kinzo-san truly acknowledges Krausan as his successor. Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this little reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika. What do you think, Jessica-san?
What the hell? What do you call that reasoning? That's bullshit. It's screwed up.
Jessica let her emotions lay bare and glared at Erika. Erika, on the other hand, looked exceedingly calm with an expression that said, "Well, that's just the truth, right?" I see. Looks like table manners are the only way this girl is fitting for the Ishimiya family. It seems she really does match the family, even when it'd be better if she didn't. Okay, take it easy, Jessica. And Erika, let's leave it at that for now.
Sorry, give me a second.
Okay.
We can put all the successor stuff to the side for now. Anyway, there's no doubt that it's Father's big question for us. It's 20 billion yen! Maria-chan, what do you use for it if you found it?
The Golden Land isn't just gold. It's a secret place.
Uncle Hideyoshi kept trying to force himself to chuckle and improve the mood. Everyone else tried to play along, but Jessica's mood didn't get any better.
So, Erika-chan, would you like to have a go at the epitaph's riddle?
Yes. My little gray cells are itching to get started. Let's start solving as soon as possible.
George Aniki smoothly turned the conversation around. At the time she'd made everyone laugh in the dining hall, Erika looked about with gleeful eyes and jumped at the chance.
Oh, I like it. Well, since Erika seems so interested, let's all try and solve it together, just like last year. I'll make some coffee. Raise your hand if you want some. Not for you, Maria. You won't be able to sleep.
I don't want
Don't they get you excited? Riddles like this? I love them.
Erica said that and smiled. Though she must have known that she'd ticked Jessica off and made the atmosphere sour. Just smiled nonchalantly.
See? Without even waiting for the crime on October 5th, there's a riddle you can solve.
Could have solved it many times myself, but...
But you didn't have a clue, so you gave up and stopped thinking. Right?
It pissed me off, but I didn't have a good counter for that. After all, I don't get the epitaph at all. I don't even know what the beloved hometown means, or the parts about the Sweetfish River and the key. Thinking that a few more hints would show up if I waited. I kept on waiting and just stopped thinking.
Have you figured out an answer of your own? Because I'm about to solve it.
What?
This is where Burns solved the riddle of the epitaph. I'd expect no less from the Witch of Miracles. If a riddle is solvable, then she can solve it without fail, regardless of the difficulty. How many years did it take to solve this one?
That's rude. I only fished through a few hundred fragments.
You really are terrifying.
You're gonna cheat by suddenly saying the answer in red or something like that, right?
Don't worry. Just like you, I follow the rules as a player. Well, shall we begin? It's cramped here. Why don't we talk over the sea?
Okay. Don't get queasy, Battler.
What do you mean the sea? Huh? The whole world had turned pitch black, and the next moment I was struck by a strange floating sensation. That's what it feels like suddenly have the floor drop from under you, sending you into a bottomless pit. Oh no.
Even in the fragments.
For fuck's sake!
I mean, we are in the sea after all.
Team Eternity.
I looked, so the two witches and I had been thrown into a pitch black universe. In this space, every direction was covered in endless darkness, like a limitless expanse filled with countless glistening objects.
Hypnotic, isn't it?
Some people might have likened it to the depths of an ocean where innumerable sparkling fragments drifted. Whoa! Whoa!
Didn't she tell you not to get queasy?
If you want the concept of gravity, just create it yourself, okay? Come on, calm down and look at us. Come on, don't we look like we're just fine? Believe that your feet are on the ground and that you're being controlled by gravity. If you do that, you'll find your equilibrium.
Yes, the two witches are standing normally. Their feet were planted on transparent pieces of glass. No one floating about like someone in a rapidly plummeting elevator. As though they were doing just fine, I started calming down, figuring that there was no need to be scared. Then just Lambda Delta said, I gritted my teeth and kept telling myself that there was a place to stand here, and I had to stay calm. Whoa.
Oh, that's sick. Very good, very good. What's your name?
You showed me a battler. What's they look like?
Okay. You mustn't lose your will, emotions, or form. After all, this is the ocean. If you lose your purpose, you'll fall into the depths of eternity and become a scrap of ocean seaweed. Be careful.
I don't get what Lambda Delta's saying, but I should calm down for the time being. Seems that I regained my equilibrium and the more I calm down. Gradually, the weird floating feeling, like I was falling forever, began to disappear. It still felt strange, like trying to stand up straight at the bottom of a deep pool, but it was much better than before.
Then let's begin. I'll weave together some fragments for solving the riddle of the epitaph.
Bernkastel opened both of her hands. Then, like a planetarium, all the fragments of the empty space began to spin, leaving tails behind them. The expression planetarium might be surprisingly fitting. All the fragments are tied together by golden lines. What looked like a constellation zoomed by us rapidly, one after another. It felt almost as though we were dashing through space at an incredible speed. And with tails of light drifting behind them, several brightly glowing fragments swirled around Bernkastel. It looked almost like she created her own solar system, with her as the sun. The solar system surrounding Bernkastel grew to a radius large enough to swallow us up. And every once in a while, one of those satellite fragments zoomed right past me. And those fragments passed by me. Felt as though some kind of memory welled up inside me. So I sensed it. These fragments are probably like a crystallization of memories.
They aren't memories. They're fragments of worlds. Well, I guess they might feel like memories to you.
Then let's begin. Let's start with this fragment.
One of the satellites in the solar system was slowly sucked into an inward trajectory with Bernkastel at the center. They're drawing a spiral and approaching her, and settled down in the palm of Bernkastel's outstretched hand. Then it glittered brightly, painting over the world with pure white. This is when Ava Beatrice is talking.
The beloved hometown definitely won't betray our expectations. The only past father held Dehedir appeared to happen during his childhood years.
I remember that. This was the third game where Aunt Ava was just about to solve the riddle of the epitaph. I was thinking it over with this witch inside of her or whatever.
That's right. And from these thoughts, she made her way to the correct answer. In other words, this fragment shows a vital hint for reaching the truth. It means that this theory is not mistaken.
So you're saying that we should assume this beloved hometown is a metaphor for or something like that? The place grandfather actually spent his youth?
That's right. At the very least, it isn't Odawara.
Odawara is definitely where he was born, but I don't think that's the hometown he loved. I imagine all of his siblings have the same place in mind. Right. This probably isn't Odawara. From what I've heard, he had a very fun time as youth.
That's right. Aunt Ava and her siblings said it wasn't Odawara. Not only that, it looks like everyone guessed where grandfather's hometown was.
Right. And annoyingly, the actual location isn't spoken in any of the fragments.
B.
B.
Well, duh.
Well,
good.
duh.
We'll give her a few minutes. Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, duh.
AC Lambda.
Well, duh.
There we go.
Oh, never mind. I can wait then.
If I told you that, there'd be too many hints. If it wasn't a hard riddle, there'd be no point to it. Uh-oh. That's a hint, too.
Where's his hometown of grandfathers? Can't even start if we don't know that.
You mean you couldn't start, so you stopped thinking? Since it had to be a place where he could have lived, the number of possibilities is limited. Well, this is the toughest part.
You were the witch who could certainly solve any riddle that can be solved, weren't you? So you took those limited possibilities. In other words, everywhere on the earth, and considered every single piece of land that grandfather might have lived on.
That would work too, but that way, no amount of time would be enough. So, I needed to take some more hints into consideration to wring out the answer. Didn't you say it yourself? You said it didn't have to be a river with water flowing down it. If the word sweetfish is too complicated, why not forget it? Think of a river. A river. Linking it with a family tree wasn't a bad idea. Try thinking about how to link a river with something else along those lines. A Sweetfish River running through the hometown. However, this river isn't truly a river. Ava thought of something else, something that could be linked with the river.
Sure. If it isn't a river, then why the sweetfish?
Think. A river that runs through the hometown. But it isn't a river with water running down it. Something that can be likened to a river.
Yeah.
Behold the Sweetfish River running through the beloved hometown. Ava knew where the hometown was, so she could forget about the Sweetfish hint. However, since we don't know where it is, this could be a hint for us.
I worry too much about the Sweetfish River. The Sweetfish part didn't really matter that much at all, did it? That isn't true. It was an excellent hint, wasn't it? Of course, maybe there was no need for it to be Sweetfish.
What are these sweetfish? If the river isn't a literal river, then of course sweetfish probably doesn't mean that's the kind of fish that swims.
Yeah. And on top of that, Rosa tossed it aside, saying that sweetfish weren't that significant.
On the other hand, Ava said it wasn't important for them to be sweetfish, but that it was still an excellent hint. In other words, the sweetfish is a key to make you think of something else. If that something is a different word, but a word that sweetfish makes you think of, then Ava's line about how it probably didn't have to be sweetfish makes sense.
From all these thoughts, Aunt Ava formed some theory. Went to the library, looked through some books, and verified that she was right. In short, I even formed some theory about the true nature of the Sweetfish River running through a hometown. Then she opened a certain book to determine whether the theory was correct or not. In other words, this theory was something that could be verified through some kind of book. Also, after she figured out what the Sweetfish River was, she figured out the rest of the riddle very quickly.
Good thinking. The epitaph continues on, saying, as you travel down the river, you will see a village. At that point in time, Ava hadn't yet solved the 3 lines, starting with this one.
What is this village? What does it mean? Do you find one if you go down the river? Right before my eyes, the pieces that I hadn't begun to understand at all began to snap, snap, snap into place all by themselves.
Tell her.
I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. My throat grew completely dry. Is it really okay for this to be the answer? Really? Really?
So, figure out what the Sweetfish River running through the hometown is. Leads us directly to the understanding that as you travel down the river, you will see a village stuff, and then we get to the key of we get the key to the Golden Land.
Correct. And we know that because even Ava didn't know what the village meant until she checked the book.
Damn it. What is this book?
But this isn't 6 characters at all. I'm absolutely sure this is the answer, but this doesn't reach 6 characters at all.
Did you stop thinking again? In that case, think of a way you could read it with 6 characters. If you can't think of one, then research it. There has to be an answer. You must not doubt that. Oh, is believing in that too much for you? If only you just cry yourself to sleep and then you can just give up and die.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh. 6 characters. I found it. This is the key to the Golden Land.
Then, Ava found the key to the Golden Land.
Yeah. And this key was some kind of word, number, or string of characters. 6 characters long.
And that's it. If we know the key's true identity has 6 characters, the meaning of the first Twilight changes drastically.
On the first Twilight, of the 6 chosen by the key is sacrifices. 6 chosen by the key. 6 characters! That means the sacrifice of 6 characters chosen by the key on the first Twilight.
And this key indicates a certain group of 6 people. No, we should say it indicates a certain group of 6 things. If this doesn't mean a literal command to offer sacrifices, for example, it could be an anagram.
An anagram? Do you mean playing with letters?
Yeah, curious. I've been thinking that way ever since that moment.
On the second twilight, there are those who remain. Which means that at the very least, that something has a limited number of characters. You could read it like it's telling you to continue with the remaining characters after the first 6 characters are removed.
In other words, on the first twilight, we take a list of characters that's longer than 6. Kill the 6 that are the key, and then do something with the characters that remain.
That's right. But, like Kyrie said, what should we kill the characters from? We don't know this longer string of characters that we're supposed to be killing from.
The first twilight, kill the 6 characters that are the key. The first twilight. In other words, by the time we reach the first twilight, some string of characters already exists. There might be a set of Japanese characters. I know in Grandfather's taste, could it be something in English? The first twilight has more than 6 characters. You know, the Japanese phrase is just has 4.
Good. That idea of yours isn't bad, Battler-san. We can interpret the 6 sacrifices chosen by the key as a string of 6 characters. I think it's a very clever concept. That way, the key doesn't necessarily have to be key-shaped.
I've also considered the possibility that it is an anagram.
Come to think of it, you did say something like that before. But in that case, where do we take the 6 characters out from?
That's right. Since we're taking 6 characters out, it must be at least 6 characters long. We need to read this in some way that gives it more than 6 characters. If we follow Father's sensibilities, I guess it probably is English after all.
If it looks like we're getting stuck, why don't we just move on to the second twilight and look for hints? Those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. Really think of those who remain as the remaining characters after the first 6 have been taken out.
Oh fuck! In that case, what does it mean by 2 characters that are close?
I see. I get it. That's what this is about. For example, let's take the following list of 9 characters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then let's say the 6 characters offered as sacrifices are 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9. In this case, we erase the aforementioned 6 characters from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and get 2, 4, and 5.
So 2, 4, and 5 are left. So what?
Oh, 4 and 5 are close.
Yeah, I get it. So the 2 are close are
2 and 4, 45. Yep. There's a gap between 2 and 4, but 4 and 5 are right next to each other. They're the 2 who are close.
Good. Well done, Battler-san. We can't tell whether tear apart means to crush 4 and 5, or to put a gap between them. I think it's a good observation.
Then what do you think about the third twilight? Those who remain shall praise my noble name.
Since there's a good chance that we're playing with letters, that might be the same thing. The characters that remain shall praise my noble name.
That's tough. What could it mean?
Does anyone know? I think I do.
Huh? What is it? Tell me!
Is this also an anagram?
Once again, good. Battler-san, you're a pretty flexible thinker.
By anagram, you mean playing with letters, right? That means...
In other words, maybe you can make some kind of word by changing the order of the remaining letters.
Yeah. If so, I might be getting ahead of myself with this theory. But maybe if the original list of characters that the first twilight removed from is 11 characters long.
Well done again. I reached the same conclusion.
Why's that? Why do you think there are 11 characters?
We think killing a single sacrifice means crushing a single character. If we interpret the tear apart of the second twilight to mean adding a gap between two characters, then there are 11 characters total. If tear apart means to crush those two characters, we can say that there are 13 characters. After all, from the fourth twilight to the eighth twilight, the word kill appears 5 times. And then on the ninth twilight, it's written that none will be left alive.
They ignore the part about the witch reviving for now. I'm afraid that after crushing the first 6, separating the characters that are close, and then crushing 5 more of them, there should be no characters left. So that makes 6 plus 5 or 11 characters. If tearing apart the 2 who are close in the second twilight means to kill both of them, that makes 6 plus 2 plus 5, and 13 characters. Chance the word symbolizing the first twilight has 11 or 13 characters. Wait. It couldn't be that easy, could it?
Wonderfully done. That's the exact same theory I thought of. Looks like you were gifted with excellent little gray cells just like me, Battler-san.
Hey, quit it. Doing what comes naturally. Hey, what the hell? The piece of me is pretty damn smart. There's no room left for me to make theories.
Oh, sorry about that. You weren't around at this point, so I just controlled your piece for you. Isn't it nice how smart I made you look?
You look smarter when Burns playing you. Why not just step down as a player and concentrate on being a piece instead?
Got on this game partway through, well after the first murder occurs on October 5th. It means the piece called me was controlled by the player, Burncastle. I guess that means it's possible for Burncastle's reasoning to be announced through my mouth. The game I'm watching now is nothing more than a replay of a part that's already ended. No, put it back! Play the song again! No! Alright, that's probably good enough for now. After all, this Burncastle song was going out of her way to solve the epitaph for me. I'll watch closely for now. I'm trying to figure out what it means. Lambda let it slip herself just a second ago.
Well, duh. If I told you that, there'd be too many hints. If it wasn't a hard riddle, there'd be no point to it. Uh-oh, that's a hint too.
This theory about grandfather creating the epitaph in order to choose a successor isn't bad at all. Erica and Burncastle's logic is extremely reasonable. Only if we assume that grandfather was the one to create it. He was probably alive at the time the epitaph was displayed. But of course, grandfather's already dead by 1986. And in the games up until now, Beatrice threatened us repeatedly with letters, saying the only way to survive was to solve the epitaph, and forced us to solve a riddle. In other words, it was Beatrice's intention, her hope, we would try solving the riddle of the epitaph. The epitaph's so confusing in most cases. It's so confusing that, in most cases, the doctors never seriously tried solving it until the threatening letters started to arrive. That's why Beatrice fired the starting pistol that made us take a go at it. Why is Beatrice carrying out grandfather's will after his death? Like the theory proposed in the first game. Is Beatrice really grandfather's confidant? He's following his orders even after his death and trying to select the successor with the riddle of the epitaph in grandfather's stead? If she did that, it would mean Beatrice really was Kinzo's trusted underling. The family alchemist she claimed to be in the letter. After grandfather's death, Beatrice managed the 10 tons of gold and took the title of alchemist. She entrusted with the epitaph's riddle and without ever embezzling the gold. She waited for a human fitting to be the successor to appear and solve it. Now that human didn't appear with a set time limit, would that be game over? Currently, certainly, Ava, who solved the riddle of in the third game, became the only survivor and, automatically, the final head of the Ashurmia family, inheriting everything. Up until now, no one has ever survived past October 5th except Ava, the one who solved the epitaph. That was the only case where Beatrice let anyone survive. Is Beatrice's loyalty to grandfather the thing that drove her? Was she so loyal that she faithfully carried out some terrible order? To kill everyone if the epitaph wasn't solved? I must not stop thinking. Don't stop thinking. Just think of the riddle itself. Think about why it's significant. Why is Beatrice telling us to solve the epitaph? Why is she making us solve such a confusing epitaph? If Beatrice makes us try to solve the epitaph we have no real chance of solving, by some lucky chance a miracle occurs and someone is able to solve it, what significance would that have to her? I don't know. Such a miracle would be worth to Beato. Anyway, until after we figure out the first Twilight. Until we figure out the first Twilight, we'll have to give up on the rest. We tried looking at it from several different angles, but in the end, we got stuck there and made no further advances. I'm really at an extra large yawn. This got several other people to yawn. We've been using our heads so much that everyone had gotten a little sleepy. Jessica, who had been silent and irritated the whole time, quickly stood up.
Now I'm going upstairs with Maria. We'll watch TV or something.
Okay. I'll go up too. Hey, why don't we all play cards together upstairs?
Just proposed this, Maria completely forgot about that big yawn of hers and started jumping around, insisting that she wanted to play cards. According to the clock, it was already 10 o'clock at night. But about the time you'd normally take a bath and get ready for sleep. Even the adults seemed pretty weary from traveling. Let us continue this later and went our separate ways.
Will you play cards with us too? Erica-chan?
I appreciate the sentiment. I overstepped my bounds a little, forgetting that I'm a simple guest. I'll take it easy and rest for the night. I almost forgot I was recently in an accident.
Seriously. You're in such high spirits, it's hard to believe you almost drowned.
That's you for you. Still, I enjoyed it. I think we've taken a big step in our reasoning thanks to you. If I find the gold, I'll let you have about 1,000,000 yen worth.
Can't you at least offer the poor girl 100 million?
No need to bother. I'm only interested in solving the riddle. Well then, if you'll excuse me. Good night.
Yeah, night.
Oh, you aren't going upstairs, Batlacon?
I'm getting a bit interested. I'll think things through here just a bit longer. If I can just figure out the list of characters that marks the first twilight, then the road before me will open up all at once. I went up to the second floor one by one. Only Rosa remained behind, filling up the coffee cups everyone had been drinking out of. Curious and some others had offered to help, but Rosa had refused and was washing them all alone. I'd just been treated to such delicious coffee, I decided to help too. I wasn't just doing it because I felt obliged, or obligated. I wanted to keep discussing the epitaph with someone. First twilight. First twilight. Aunt Rosa, have you thought of some list of characters or a word?
No. I don't have a clue. But instead of the first twilight, it's the 10th twilight that bugs me.
The 10th twilight? What about it?
Well, at the end here it says you'll receive the Golden Land's 4 treasures once and for the last time, right?
Yeah, it does.
Why mention that you're reaching the Golden Land just once and then say it's for the last time? It's almost as though he's repeating the same thing twice. I've just been wondering whether he had some reason for putting it like that.
You're right. Like you said, it'll be a more straightforward way of saying that. That line should have been a key part of the riddle. You wouldn't expect the writer to waste words needlessly. Could have been done for some special purpose.
Still, you and that Erica John girl are incredible. Your minds really are flexible. I'm already an old lady and my brain just doesn't work that fast. That theory about the 6 chosen by the keys signifying 6 characters to be removed was very impressive. After hearing that, I can't see it as being any other way. But before then, I didn't think it was like that at all. I'm feeling let down by my own dull mind.
That's not true. You got a flexible mind yourself, Aunt Rosa. This last time thing might be really important somewhere down the line.
Not at all. My mind is very stiff. Up until now, I've always thought that this first twilight was nothing more than a place 1/10 of the way on a road to the Golden Land.
What's that? That's interesting. Mind telling me about it?
After all, in the line before the first twilight, it says you must travel to the Golden Land, right? The next part describes a journey that lasts 10 days, so I thought the first twilight would be part of the way through that journey.
The journey. I see.
Then the journey begins, and when you set up camp at the first twilight, you offer the 6 sacrifices. So I thought, where is that place? How many kilometers from the starting point? Things like that. Don't tell anyone this, okay? I'm not very clever, so for a long time I read the home kanji. It's kyo when it's pronounced sato. And kyo reminds you of Kyoto, right? It's often shortened to kyo. So I thought the 10-day trip might be between Father's home and Kyoto, and there might be some hidden 1/10 of the way there.
Are you kidding? That's a brilliant idea. The first twilight is the first stop on that 10-day journey. The name of that place might be the key to moving forward.
For my 10-day theory to work, you'd have to know both the start point and the end point. I know the start point. I know the hometown Father loved. The place Father spent his time when he was a boy really is far away. But the problem is the goal, the Golden Land. What does that really mean? If we don't know that, my theory gets us nowhere. I've been stuck at this spot for a long time. But after listening to your reasoning today, I've realized what an embarrassing mistake I've been making.
No, I think it's still an interesting idea. Start a goal. 10-day journey. And the place reached to the very first twilight.
Believe it or not, I think you might solve this one easily, Battler-kun. If you do solve it with your aunt's hint, share some with me. Even 5% would be great. It's a promise.
Despite being my aunt, she gave me a smile and a wink which would have made a man's heart jump. As I helped her with wash the coffee cups, I kept pondering the epitaph's riddle in silence. And after I finished helping Aunt Rosa, I passed the corridor on my way to the bathroom, and saw Erica unlocking the door to a room on my path. I thought your room was on the second floor. Figured you'd gone upstairs and had fallen asleep by now.
I was just searching for something. I thought it might be here.
Searching for something? Erica unlocked the door and opened it. Dusty smell drifted out. It was the library. For a library, the gaps between bookshelves are extremely small. This is obviously built for storing books, not reading them. So, it's a book you're searching for.
Not necessarily a book, but materials, I guess you could say. There's something I've just got to look up.
You're looking for something to do with the epitaph's riddle? Pretty impressive that you haven't given up yet. Is it the 20 billion yen that enticing? I hadn't given up either. Apparently being stubborn is something we both share.
Of course not. I'm only interested in solving puzzles. I search for the gold only to prove my reasoning correct. Even if I found it, I wouldn't pocket it for myself, so I have no fears on that score.
She immediately cast my comments aside, saying that she just liked solving riddles and had no interest at all in the gold. I thought she was pretty weird from the start, and looks like that impression was spot on. Erica slowly circled the bookshelf, searching for the books that she was after. I'm also trying to solve the epitaph right now. Oh yeah, just a second ago I heard something interesting from Aunt Rosa. Mike gave us a hint about the first twilight.
Let me hear it.
Erica asked this without stopping her search, or even turning to face me. In the line before the first twilight says that the one who obtains the key must do so-and-so.
The one who obtains the key must then travel to the Golden Land in accordance with these rules.
Whoa, you've already got it memorized? I shouldn't be surprised.
And what about it?
Yeah, you gotta travel to the Golden Land, right? Apparently this made Aunt Rosa think about the 10th twilight. In other words, going on a 10-day journey from the beloved homeland to the Golden Land.
Actually, I already noticed that myself. You start from the place reached on the first day of the 10-day journey. That's where we take the sacrifices from.
Yeah, that's what Aunt Rosa thought too. I think the theory's pretty intriguing. We're looking for the place you reach on the first day of a 10-day journey. That bit of land, or else the name of that region, might be a key.
I also guess that the place's name might be a key. That's why I'm looking for materials. I want to turn my guesses into certainty.
Just, what are you looking for? Then Erica's hand suddenly stopped, and she slowly pulled it out. As she just dusted it off, she finally looked at me and spoke. It's an atlas. Time is it? Cool, we got enough for another chapter. Sick.
Sorry, I need to use the bathroom really quickly.
Alright, go to
Intermission.
bathroom. Go to bathroom. Go.
So, what do you guys think?
Everyone.
I actually zoned out during a part of that. So I'm gonna go over the cons notes.
Oh, you can always watch the VOD.
I mean, sleepy too. I was just paying attention though.
Available. Go to the Twitch.
Also, remember, the notes are not always perfect. There is stuff that can be missed.
It's the best that I got though.
Yeah,
is it though?
Ask us.
Okay, what were they just saying? What did they just say? Because I don't know.
Alright.
Like something about a journey?
AC's gonna give you that information right now, if you look in the live general.
Sure, I'm going back over stuff.
Something about, like, I missed the part where they were in the library, like, my focus kind of went out. I heard Atlas.
Oh, Battler was sharing the thing that Aunt Rosa had told him prior, and he was kind of, like, telling it to Erica, and she's like, you know, I already kind of thought of that stuff. That's why I'm looking around here right now, and then she just pulls out an atlas, because she thinks that's a key to solving the epitaph.
Alright, so no particularly critical information had been lost in the library yet.
No.
But try to stay awake.
Yeah, it's not so much I'm falling asleep, it's just like when people just kind of long drawn out conversations, my eyes...
No,
The majority of Umineko.
Yeah, it's all long
Well, that's kind of like peak Umineko, yeah.
This is why reading books is hard for me. I can read the book perfectly fine, but whether or not information will get in there, I don't know.
I prefer audiobooks.
Yeah, same.
And like, oftentimes I just treat Umineko as an audiobook and listen to you guys.
It sucks that I feel like I could actually do decently at this. Well, then again, with all the number shit, I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it would be very.
Whoops!
I clicked on the wrong chat. Clicked on the wrong chat. Clicked on the wrong chat. Oopsie doopsies.
Orange is down.
I'm not down. I'm right here.
All right. So what are you saying?
Okay. Yeah. Unless you have like a fuckload of like relevant like Japanese and other like various knowledge, it would be extremely difficult for anybody to solve the epitaph.
All right, so
it's
done. I was kind of worried about that how much of this might be language based.
It is possible, I believe.
It's possible. It's just you need to like think in like a very specific way.
It requires a lot, and to be honest,
we don't fall shoot if you don't solve it.
Yeah, this is.
I don't think anybody's ever fucking solved the epitaph that I know of.
I know one person.
But one part I don't understand is, didn't like Ava do it in one of the arcs? She just like picked up a book and the door opened.
Ava solved it. Technically speaking, Rosa solved it like right after her. So people have solved it before, but it's only within the context of the story.
And also, it probably helps that they actually know the person that made it.
Wouldn't like the easiest way to do this is to just literally scatter the books, and then the one that opens the door would be resolved by doing that?
Well, it's not that it opened.
I thought she opened a book and then it did
She took a look because it was in a book, reading Rainbow.
She used the knowledge within the book to solve the epitaph.
They did not.
Oh no! Oh, I thought she literally. It's like the thing where you like.
They did not Scooby-Doo
like
it.
a staircase appears.
No, they did not Scooby-Doo it.
I feel like the epitaph would have been solved way long ago had that been the case.
Yeah, if they could have just started like ripping.
That's what the anime led me to believe, and I kind of forgot how it happened in the novel at that point.
Well, the anime's
she
bad.
picked up the book, and then the staircase appeared, and she was in the basement.
Okay, I'm back.
Well, besides the anime being bad. The anime does feed you incorrect information.
Yeah.
True.
About the
Yeah.
answer, the entirety answer.
Yeah.
I guess I would say.
Remember, the anime is wrong, and anything that conflicts with the information here, this wins over it, considering it's the source material.
Isn't that the same for any game adaptation anime?
I mean, the manga is way more correct in its shit.
Well, the manga is a suitable. I won't say like alternative, but like it's a suitable adaptation of Umineko, and it does do some things I think a little bit stronger in some aspects than the visual novel could do. Also, I would probably say that the manga has the advantage of I think it's a little bit more easier to consume through than the visual novel. In terms of like going through a manga versus a visual novel. However, getting a copy of that manga, hoo boy.
Book hard.
Alrighty then, if everybody's back here, we can.
It
get
was
started.
pretty hard for me to find.
It seems we've managed to make it through the first day.
Not so he could be seen in the study. When she muttered as though to herself, gold butterflies appeared and formed in the shape of a person. Oh. Thanks, Ramen.
We mustn't let our guards down. I can't imagine we'll last through tomorrow if we simply sit around here.
So, as I suspected, simply saying Father's in a bad mood and refuse to come out won't be enough to deceive them completely.
Indeed. It seems last year left them quite suspicious. Because of that, the toxin has expanded and is coiling itself around this study, growing ever tighter.
Fuck, I was actually not expecting a character of mine to show up this session. Fuck.
It's cool.
Lol.
I imagine it goes beyond mere suspicion raised last year.
That's right. The toxin has grown too thick to be explained away by that alone. And is strongly intent. Someone must have suspected Ginzo-sama's death since last year, and is strongly intent on exposing that secret at this year's family conference.
I mean, we didn't have them fully deceived even a full year ago.
Unfortunately, it's probably best to assume that, given our current situation, the typhoon will remain here tomorrow, and the boat will not come for them until the day after. In short, we must endure for another 36 hours at the very least.
It may not be visible to your eyes, Natsuhi, but the closed room barrier sealing this room was once very firm. Tonight, however, it has been worn down almost to the point of crumbling, like dried leaves awaiting a windstorm.
No, the storm is already here. Natsuhi-sama, I propose that we switch from the closed room barrier to something else.
What do you mean by that? Are you suggesting we change our plan?
That is correct. Vergilia-sama and I will reconstruct the barrier similar to last year's.
In other words, we'll take Kinzo out of the study and have him tightrope walk from shadow to shadow where the toxin can't reach, just like last year. It may be dangerous, but I would like to second her proposal.
The joke? Do you truly intend to change the plan this far in?
When one realizes they cannot withstand a siege, they must consider the option of abandoning the castle.
Right now, this room is like a castle surrounded by enemy troops, with its walls about to crumble. If staying put means certain death, then you also have the option of riding out for one last stand in an honorable defeat. After all, surrender doesn't seem to be an option in this fight.
I'll protect Father's secret until the very end. If it's discovered, we'll have no chance to talk our way out of it. My husband's embezzlement will be exposed to the light of day, and the Shima family's honor will be destroyed. We must remain firm and prevent it no matter what may happen.
Calm down, I understand you. Krause's alchemy will soon yield great results. If we can just make it through this year, we'll manage. So don't get flustered.
But we use this strategy precisely because we won't be able to pull off the same trick as last year, right? Isn't the height of stupidity to return to a plan you previously abandoned because it was impossible? Just what sort of plan could we hope to make at this point?
Ronave and I will prepare one. Leave it to us, for creating illusions is what witches do. All you have to do is give us your permission, Natsuhi-sama.
Teacher and Ronave are quite reliable at times such as these. And the servants of the One-Winged Eagle are top-notch furniture. Once Teacher and Ronave rebuild the magic we need, I imagine the servants will work hard to protect it. It still isn't too late. Let's take Kinzo out of the study and make that illusion walk around.
You forget we chose our current strategy because we considered plans like this and couldn't find anything that would work? It would be the height of foolishness to get flustered in an emergency and carelessly throw away our primary plan.
But Natsuhi-sama, as you stand there amidst the toxin, you must realize better than anyone else that we will no longer be able to outlast this siege.
I propose that we try and think of another plan without changing our objective of holding the fort. In any event, as long as we can keep this room sealed, no one will be able to deny Father's existence. After all, one cannot determine the contents of a cat box that no number of people could ever hope to open.
Well, that may be true. But humans are capable of defying reason. It's possible for them to eat into an airtight cat box and go inside like black ants closing in on a box of cake. Lady Birdcastel's piece also worries me.
It was fortunate that Erika-sama stole the show at tonight's dinner. By doing that, she created an atmosphere in which it was possible to close down the family conference for tonight. If you all had returned directly to the family conference as usual, the barrier might have broken tonight.
However, it also made the toxin grow even thicker. After it thickens all night, it might manage to penetrate the closed room barrier with ease. Whether we continue to hold down the fort or not, we will not make it through tomorrow unless we prepare a new strategy and a new barrier.
Lady Burncastel may have some plan for breaking the closed room barrier. We can't take that piece called Erica lightly.
Come to think of it, that man who mentioned taking revenge again for the events of 19 years ago may also be a piece of Lady Barncastle's. This board achieved equilibrium with 18 pieces, but now it has had 2 undesired pieces added to it. There are too many irregularities this year.
Lady Burncastel is a fan of Eastern things. In shogi or Japanese chess, aren't you allowed to drop pieces in during a game?
Yes, that is possible. Even the act of dropping a queen from the captured pile right in front of the enemy king is an allowable trump card in shogi.
I wonder what that man who claimed to have connection from 19 years ago is doing now. Is he already hiding somewhere on this island? That girl called Erica was able to appear by claiming to have drifted here. That man might also have landed somewhere on this island, despite the typhoon, and he may be hiding somewhere now. Ain't going to be hard to fully deceive the relatives any longer.
Oops.
Why? Why do so many regular things keep happening at the same time? How can you explain this like miracle of coincidence?
Natsue slammed the desk hard, holding her head and cringed with the pain from her overwhelming headache.
Lady Burncastel controls miracles. There's no point in being surprised at irregularities or miracles when she's around.
Well, shogi is a game in which an enemy piece might suddenly appear in front of a king. For that very reason, you build up a perfect formation that won't allow for such a weakness. Artistically, fuck.
Whoopsies. Whoopsies.
Artistically, constructing a castle around your king.
There you go.
Oh wait, shit.
In that case, isn't holding a fort exactly what we should be doing now?
Perhaps. If we had a fort we could hold, but we cannot hope for such a thing now.
It's difficult to corner a king with no wall to his back, and even more difficult to corner one with open spaces in all directions. Think of a mouse. You can catch a mouse that's shut in a cage. However, catching a mouse will feel like trying to catch a cloud.
Natsuhi-sama. Please allow us to consider this option. Kinzo-sama will leave his study and wander around the mansion on a whim, avoiding the gazes of the relatives. We will think of a natural-seeming plan by this for morning.
Do you see the danger? If you're willing to consider such a dangerous option, wouldn't it be better to continue acting as though father's in this room in a bad mood?
Tomorrow the relatives will crowd around the study once again. They'll be right on the other side of that single door. When that happens, just how long do you intend to make it seem like they're having a yelling match with Kinzo-sama? It's impossible.
And we must find out some way to postpone its impossibility for 36 hours! If you tell me to do it, I will! I am Shirimiya Natsuhi, the wife of the Shirimiya family head. If you tell me to do that, I will act out a shouting match with father for as many days as it takes. Ah!
Even Natsuhi realized that she could never manage it. But she so no longer saw any chance of victory from a plan that involved an illusion of Kinzo walking around. Banging on the desk several times with tears of rage streaming down her face, Natsuhi alternated between groaning from her headache and placing the blame on one thing or another. I don't feel that there must be some curse that made anyone who sat in that chair act that way.
This is like a game of mating shogi, where you are on the defense. In mating shogi, the opponent has no king. And you have no way of winning other than avoiding a checkmate for a predetermined number of moves.
And to think that I must escape for a whole day and a half's worth of moves is just too many.
Sorry.
Ooh.
Sorry, I was coughing.
Okay.
Don't stop thinking. Don't give up. I listen to your complaints, so don't have a fit. Your unshaking will to overcome this trial will bring you success with certainty. That's the power of the Witch of Certainty for you. You must not lose that magical power. Believe that you will overcome this no matter what. I'm sure you'll think of a brilliant plan. Therefore, you mustn't give up, and you mustn't stop thinking.
You're right. I understand. Only I can overcome this hardship.
That is correct. Didn't Kinzo entrust you with the job of overcoming these challenges? Kinzo acknowledged that you were worthy of that responsibility.
Father. Father.
Teacher and Ronobe will think of a move. Of course, I will think as well. However, even that we cannot do without permission from our master, from you. So at the very least, don't abandon your will to fight! Don't give up!
I understand. I understand. But I'm already all tired out, and I can't stand this headache. Why is it that I'm crying here, all alone in this frigid study? Why isn't my husband here for me now?
Back when dinner ended, Kraus claimed to be dizzy and went to bed early. Of course, he had done this to get enough rest to ready himself for the long day ahead. But to Natsuhi right now, it felt as though he'd just gone straight to sleep and pushed the entire burden onto her. However, complaining about such a thing would mean her failure as a wife. Isn't it a good wife's duty to work hard and put family first, even when her husband is resting? Filled with regret even at her anger toward her husband, now to determine at whom she should be angry, Natsuhi continued to sob. If only Kinzo could just speak to her kindly at times like this. Beat have searched for him, but Kinzo had been nowhere to be seen in the study for some time now. Perhaps Natsuhi had noticed this as well. Though she bragged that fighting alone and supporting from behind was the responsibility of a good wife, unable to tell her that this really was necessary, she was now so frail that she couldn't even stop her own tears. Just as Beata was trying to think of words to console Natsuhi, Virgilia tapped her lightly on the shoulder. Sometimes when words of consolation don't come from the mouth of the right person, they can do more harm than good. So Virgilia silently told Beata that remaining silent was the best course of action for now. Sorry to interrupt. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me speak.
Gare, please restrain yourself for the time being.
No, in this room there's no distinction between outsiders, guests, and the rest of us. You may speak.
Thank you. Runavi said it himself a while ago. This is mating shogi with you on the defensive. How do you lose in mating shogi? It's when your king is checkmated, right?
That goes without saying. And the opponent has no king. Therefore, all Natsuki can do is have her king run away constantly.
I see. So you're thinking of that move. Has that time come already?
What do you mean? Do you mean there's some sort of move remaining to us?
It's when you proposed the very beginning about how to hide Goldsmith's death. I'm trying to say that the time's come for us to use that.
You mean having him go missing? You mean to make that move right now, during the family conference? That's too dangerous.
Once they successfully resolved all their problems, they would have to lay Kinzo to rest. And the best way to do that was to make him disappear. One day Kinzo would go out into the forest and never return. They wouldn't be able to find him no matter how hard they searched, so that he would be declared missing. You said it yourself a second ago, Rish. You can't catch a mouse that's escaped into a field. You can't catch a goldsmith who disappeared into the forest.
You plan for us to talk our way out of this like that? To use such a move now when the suspicion against us is greatest would be no better than committing suicide.
Oh, they will probably suspect it. Such a move would most certainly lead to mistrust. However, even if they were to set foot in the study, they would find nothing to aid them. It would never again be possible for them to keep Kinzo-sama pinned down. And no matter how much they suspected his death, they would be unable to prove it.
Forget about a mere 36 hours. You'll be able to protect Kinzo's secret forever that way, right? Of course, have to bear an appropriate risk.
If you make that move, you may be able to overcome this particular challenge. But we cannot even guess at how much prestige you might lose for it.
Even so, it will most certainly overcome our current challenge. Of course, you'll then have to face an even greater suspicion, but you won't die.
Yes. That may be true, but...
During the Great Kanto earthquake, the Ashurmia family should have died. However, the mad genius Goldsmith revived it so splendidly that it's not something you desire to protect. So this time it's up to you and your husband, the new head of and his wife, to do the same.
Oh. Is that how you intend to stir her up?
I'm not stirring her up. I'm just asking if she's prepared to be the wife of the head. I'm prepared to protect the Ashurmia family even if you end up getting dragged through the dirt to do it.
I am prepared.
Then now is the time. If you can survive being dragged through the dirt, then crawl with all your might. You'll inch your way through the world of suffering, and eventually you'll restore that glory. I, Gap, the 33rd in rank, promise you this.
Gap.
The fact that I came to play at a time like this must be a sign from the gods of happenstance. I'll keep this promise, assure me, and Natsuhi. I require nothing in return. Rish, the one who serves you, has already paid me plenty in advance. Yeah, I may have seemed irresponsible, but she actually possessed a strong sense of duty. She was the kind of person who just couldn't leave something in trouble alone.
Payment in advance? Oh, when did I do that? I have no memory of such a thing.
Oh, I just mean those magical items you couldn't remember where you put. I made off with quite a few of them.
What? So that was your doing after all? Give them back! Give back my illusionary silver crystal and moonstick! I still haven't played around by sticking them together yet!
That's the sort of magic and strategy you can expect from me. I can hide Goldsmith away in a world where no one will be able to find him. Let me know the instant you need that magic. And up until then, feel free to think of another, safer plan.
True. Having alternatives is beneficial for your peace of mind. And without that, you'll never think of a brilliant plan.
Natsuhi-sama. We have quite some time remaining us tonight. Let's leave Gap's strategy as a final trump card and iron out a plan of our own for now. Please give us permission. And please give us the trust, magical power, and absolute conviction we'll need to succeed without fail.
If you have faith, I will make your dreams come true. If you succumb to doubt, then I will make those nightmares come true. You must build your own future. Kinzo would disappear, and right in the middle of the family conference. Such a move would truly be a last resort. Burying the final trump card in her heart, Natsui decided that she would grope around for a different plan until the last second. After all, this long night had only just begun, and it was not long. It was long not only for her. Burn Castle and her pieces had just as long to prepare as Natsuhi did. Gouge the foot and kill. And that completes it.
I see. That's really what gouge meant. Once again, my reasoning was correct.
The feel of it this time is clearly different from the previous times. There's some sort of device it activated. However, as far as a quick glance could tell, there was no dramatic change, such as an interest or some sort of opening. They needed to do just a little bit more before they could find it. Yeah, you're incredible. You really do find the gold, we'll have to split it together.
Enjoying the intellectual stimulation is enough for me. The only thing I like is solving riddles. The only reward I need is proof that I was right.
She shrugged it off, implying that just seeing the gold would be enough. Then she crouched down, peering fixedly at this lock mechanism. It's definitely no mistake to say that this girl really loves solving riddles. For her, treasure hunting is all about the delicious process of exposing secrets. So she has no interest whatsoever in getting the treasure for herself and becoming a billionaire.
I see. Pretty cocky of you setting up a device like this. The mistake you all made was letting me on this island in the first place. Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika. What do you think, everyone?
As she says the now exposed contraption, she grinned. Her smile was triumphant, but it was more fully characterized by the small bit of unpleasant disdain contained within. After solving the riddle, she was probably reveling in the pleasures of having won against the one who had proposed it, and she enjoyed her ability to scoff at this person now.
Shelly, you wanna fucking mute yourself?
Thank you. Now then.
Found the gold now, the successor won't be Kraus-san, but you.
Heh. Well, I wonder.
Isn't Kraus-san kind of arrogant? Might even call him a braggart. It'll be pretty amusing to see him lose both the gold and his position as successor to his nephew in the course of a single night, won't it?
Erika was still crouched down as she spoke, her back to Badler as she toyed around with the device.
Jessica-san was her name, right? The girl who talked back to me.
Yeah?
She really was acting big about her father being the successor. When she wakes up tomorrow and learns that you've inherited all the gold, and that her father's no longer the successor, I wonder what kind of expression she'll have on her face.
I've got no intention of keeping that 20 billion to myself. Well, if I got even 10%, that'd be as much as I could handle. He's with the rest fairly amongst the family. I'm less interested in being the successor. I'd rather let Uncle Kraus deal with that.
Will you really be able to settle things that easily in the end? Well, rather than trying to make guesses about that, I imagine it'll be more fun to guess the expression Jessica-san wears tomorrow, and what kind of sad excuses she'll try to make.
You really do have a nasty personality.
Oh? Couldn't you reason that out from the time you learned that I like solving riddles? I'm an intellectual rapist who enjoys exposing things people try to hide, get it?
Whoa!
The same thing goes for solving the epitaph's riddle.
I bet you wanted to expose the gold grandfather worked so hard to hide.
Yes. That was my goal at first, but it changed partway through.
Partway through? Changed to what?
I mean, Jessica-san. She butted in on my reasoning, contaminating that pure and noble time. Ever since then, I've been trying to solve the epitaph so I could teach that Jessica a lesson.
Are you serious?
I'll make all opponents surrender, no matter who they are. That is my sole pleasure. Do you still need me to reason it out for you? Ishirmi and Jessica irritated me. That's why I wanted to put her in her place and decided to solve the epitaph. That's what led me to the emotion I hold now. Can you reason out what those emotions are?
This time I turned my back on her in earnest. Did I get a bit too excited by this riddle-solving game, letting her drive me on and do something terrible? That's right. It should have been possible to reason that out. If the riddle is solved, the relatives will probably freak out about who the successor should be. Then some others will probably push for me, the discoverer, to be the successor, and some relatives are not thrilled with the prospect will probably oppose them. But how adamantly Erika affirmed it, it isn't written anywhere that the one who solves the riddle of the epitaph becomes the successor. Because of this, it'll lead to a fight between those who acknowledge that theory and those who don't. The reason not what happens next, as Erika did, would lead to a messy fight between Uncle Kraus and the rest of the relatives. Now that I solved the riddle, will Jessica admire me or curse me? I don't want to think about that now. Erika was still mumbling. Apparently she already started trying to reason it out. As I began to feel very bad, I vaguely gazed out into the black night. At that time, I looked at a dim outdoor light, the silhouette of a person in front of it. I thought I must be seeing things. After all, it was unthinkable that someone could have been standing there this whole time, pounded upon by the rain without even an umbrella. However, that silhouette didn't move an inch. Maybe. No, it couldn't be. It was looking at me, and it was... Grandfather? At that moment, I understood. Grandfather's probably been watching us solve the riddle for this whole time. And he watched, as we spectacularly solved the whole thing. Without a doubt, there was still a faint smile on Grandfather's face. Grandfather, who had never worn anything except moody and frightening expressions, looked at me in the eyes and smiled at me for the first time. Almost though he was saying, how impudent. Or else, I never thought it would be you. However, this is still the result that Grandfather's epitaph chose. So I'm sure he accepted that result. In the end, he grinned one more time. Of course, he didn't use words. This man seemed to be wordlessly saying, well done. I didn't know how I should respond. I could anything but stand there in shock, ignoring Eric as she crouched down, mumbling with her back toward me. Then Grandfather stretched a hand out from the folds of his cloak and pointed at something. In that direction the thing he was pointing at was probably the signpost to the Golden Land. Go. I'm sure Grandfather said that one word. I nodded to show that I understood. After watching that, Grandfather nodded back, satisfied. With a spin of his cloak, he disappeared, seeming to melt into the darkness. Fresh on his face at the end, the smile that was, for the first time, truly satisfied.
Are you listening, Battler-san? Did you hear my reasoning?
I found it. It's a signpost to the Golden Land.
Huh? Ah, it's facing a different direction than it used to. I see. So it means go that way. You got some pretty good powers of observation.
Grandfather told me about it.
Huh? Kinzo-san? Where is he?
I'm going. But look where you're showing us. Just what is this Golden Land? He started to walk. Entrance to the Golden Land was right there.
So my epitaph has finally been solved. And it was Battler who did it. Wonderful. Couldn't be better. When I think about it, I was also ahead that no one saw coming. Having the one that succeeded me is just as surprising. I have no more regrets in life. Beatrice, I am coming to join you. Along with the present, the miracle chosen by my epitaph. Battler, of all people. That Battler. At the very, very end of my life, I have seen a true miracle.
You're quieter, unfortunately.
Beatrice! I've won this bet.
Woohoo! Except for its non-corrosive properties, there's no practical way to turn gold into money. I imagine it'll take a lot of work to exchange all this for cash. At the end of a crude underground tunnel, in a VIP room so beautiful it seemed improper, was a pile of gold so large that there could be no doubting its 20 billion yen worth. Erica was calm, but Balor couldn't suppress his excitement. As for which of the two was the correct reaction to show after seeing a mountain of gold, only those who saw the scene with their own eyes could say for sure. In this day and age, it said that an average salaryman earns about 200 million yen in wages over his life. And this is 20 billion yen worth of gold. Even 1/100th of this gold mountain. A single human could live their entire life without working. What is labor? Isn't the very point of a human's life, since a person who doesn't work cannot eat? If so, then 20 million yen is enough to make a single person's life complete. And this is 20 billion yen. Account for the labors of 100 humans. No, a single human life over 100 times over. If you still wanted to work, it could. Any money you gain as a result could be used to play with. After all, you would already have enough money to live for your entire life. No, for eternity! No, wait, I mustn't keep it all to myself. I split it among 100 people. I create a world where a full 100 humans wouldn't have to work for their whole lives. So what kind of work would that be? What kind of world would that be? Yeah, there's no doubt at all. This is the Golden Land.
There you go. Baron Battler magnificently discovered the gold. Congrats. If I had her hide the more central parts of it. Well, what's wrong with being just a little mean, right?
Sure. Got as much as you like. Not just the micro details about what kind of riddle it was or what kind of answer it had. The important thing is that as a result, 10 tons of gold were discovered. The gold was discovered in the third game as well by Eva. Rose also witnessed it. However, the two of them hadn't spoken of the gold's discovery to anyone. In other words, there was a chance that this gold's discovery was a cat box truth kept between the two of them. More specifically, it was possible that the gold didn't exist at all and it was just an illusion. However, I have finally found it. The cat box has been opened!
It'd be a waste of time to do that repeated game, so I'll give you a little bonus. This mountain of gold is the real thing. All of the ingots piled up here are real, pure gold. There are absolutely no tricks such as replicas or fakes.
Okay, got it. Looks like this gold exists. But there are still some things I can't accept.
Of course. You met with him, didn't you? With Kinzo.
Even though Kinzo's supposedly an illusion, you met with him just a second ago, right? I guess that really was magic, wasn't it?
Ridiculous. I didn't exchange any words with grandfather. I felt as though grandfather and I had exchanged words. Give it a rest. The same move won't work again.
In that case, your blue truth, if you please.
I was probably in a state of euphoria after solving the epitaph's riddle, and that caused me to mistake something for grandfather. For example, maybe that was some kind of sheet or cover that had gotten caught in the dark groove of the trees. It looked like grandfather wearing a pitch-black cloak. As a result, I mistakenly thought that I'd had some sort of conversation with grandfather.
Blue truth, valid. Well, I did say the exact same thing in blue.
So, did it work? What's your counter with the red truth?
I have none. At least, not now, okay?
The meal that had a strange yell in front of the gold mountain was finally starting to regain his cool. Now that we found it, there's no covering it up. I vaguely considered keeping this discovery a secret. However, Erica wanted to prove that her own reasoning was correct by announcing this to everyone. She really is an intellectual rapist, just as she says. Puzzle-solving game is what's important to her. She doesn't intend to take any responsibility for what happens after the riddle is solved. The riddle is sort of like a lock. Locks exist to be locked. They're only significant when they're locked.
Therefore, it ought to be essential to have some goal in mind when exposing such a thing. However, to this girl, that of exposing it is itself her final goal. She has no intention of taking responsibility for anything that happens to her, or happens later. Maybe the true storm to hit Rokenjima isn't the typhoon, but her. She won't keep this discovery a secret, but definitely announce it so that she can brag about its success. Which call in a real storm upon the island. I won't be able to keep this covered up. This has nothing to do but announce the fact fairly to all. I can't imagine what will happen after that. As she grinned, Erica muttered to herself. She has been anticipating the uproar that the relatives would soon bring about. To her, merely imagining that was far sweeter than 20 billion yen in gold.
Simply by the usage of the epitaph in that place, the whole reasoning is possible for Furuto Erica. What do you think, everyone?
So I was trying not to fall asleep during the part where they were figuring out what the riddle was. How do you figure out the riddle?
That's a good question.
They didn't tell us. We don't know. It out. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't tell you exactly.
It's just like how Ava figured out the riddle.
Give me a few more hints, though.
It was like, that's it. I figured it out.
Using a map or something.
Fun fact, that manga panel Zaz just posted, that bottom face is an emote in my server.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it is.
So
what do you mean, of course it is?
Lots of talking.
A bottom face? What?
Shut up.
Really? You say that word, but I don't think you know what that. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Don't address the chat. Let's talk.
Don't address it.
Okay, moving on.
Can you wait a couple seconds? I gotta do something. I'll be right
Yeah, there is
back.
a...
we do take breaks, so it's fine.
You have your 5 minutes of thinking. I will be starting a timer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were a couple lines that we were kind of gunning for to get to in this particular chapter, and there were at least 2 or 3 of them in there, technically, depending on how you feel about. Yes.
And this is why I said this episode was brought to you by Rat.
Yeah, I was fighting to not fall asleep during portions of this, so I was a bit more zoned out than normal.
I see.
I was eating all
pretty
this
cock.
Were you pretty tired today? Are you pretty tired?
I was taking a bunch of caffeine, and now it's coming down.
Listen up, strap in, notifier next to kin.
Yeah, I take these caffeine tablets.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't get to show it properly, but Lambda's one of her iconic moments just happened. Her okay.
Okay.
One of Erica's iconic moments happened. Intellectual rapist.
Yeah.
Bone, do you like Erica?
Huh? She's fine? What does that mean?
Alright.
I don't know.
Yeah, but do you like Erica?
She's fine. She doesn't. She's cool, but she hasn't particularly stood out that much.
I was looking in the live chat and that's why I got confused. I was like,
Wait, what happened in the live chat?
Oh, when y'all started posting all these VTubers, I got very confused and concerned.
Also, yeah, don't call her a lolly, please. I just don't
She's,
like that. That term is genuinely horrible.
She's like 17.
She's like 17. She's not a child.
Yeah, she's a womanlet.
Womanlet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looked like she was like 10, so a lolly.
No, she's
that word 17.
We brain rot.
I think you haven't adapted to modern culture.
I haven't adopted to weeb culture.
You cannot say that. I'm distinctly
Calling it a lolly
annihilating.
does not mean you want to have sex with it. That's not what the word means.
Okay, let's drop this.
I am distinctly nixing the use of that letter in that word in this stream. Do not call anything that now.
There.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, you're really
So
quiet.
anything that looks like a hobbit and looks cute.
Let's drop the conversation.
Oh, you call him a hobbit.
What conversation?
We'll call him Lullafels.
Oh, you mean
Yeah, Lollapels. Let's do that.
I hope you are using your 3 minutes to think.
It doesn't seem like they are.
I've got my thoughts gathered already.
I was busy, so now I'm just thinking.
It is now 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So when everyone else sees Erica, do they also not see some kind of strawberry shortcake?
No.
Oh,
I
it's
don't.
not strawberry shortcake. I don't think they had Japan at that time.
She can't be a
Sorry.
strawberry shortcake
That was
because
on the
she's
mic,
so
I
sour.
apologize.
Strawberry tart then?
We don't view her as a pastry fruit thing.
Her outfit makes me think that she looks like one.
Alright.
Mm.
Is the minute over yet?
Got 1 minute left. Which I'm actually going to use to get a snack, so.
Oh, damn. hey, Rindy. Rindy, can you check my Valhalla channel and tell me if I voiced that character I just ran into?
Oh, Joshua, you changed your avatar.
I changed it like 2 days ago.
Wow,
yeah,
I am slow on the
Oh, yeah,
uptake.
that guy? Yeah, you're voicing that guy.
I'm voicing that guy?
Uh-huh.
Oh, damn.
And another guy.
There's at least 3 guys.
That man. I'm having red velvet cake.
Oh, sounds nice.
Is it good cake?
Yeah, it's pretty good cake.
It's actual
And I got-
cream cheese. Sorry, it's actual cream cheese icing and not that crap whipped icing, is it?
Cream cheese, and I got it for $2, and it's the premium cake that you get at the bakery store.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna gobble another caffeine.
I want to gobble caffeine, but I'm afraid I'll stay awake until fucking 3 a.m. again.
It has been 5 minutes.
Alright, I will...
One way.
Fight Club members to be quiet now.
Alright, I'm gonna eat this caffeine and I'll start.
Alright.
Alright, so Burn apparently can possess pieces. I'm wondering if Lambda has also done the same. That is my first thought. Does anybody have thoughts on this?
You know, I've never actually considered that possibility.
Rindy, you were going to say something?
Well, pieces, it's not exactly possession. Pieces are pieces. They're, you play with them. Controlling them is basically natural for players.
Birdcastle is currently in control of the chessboard. Battler is essentially watching a playback of their game at this point. So, in that sense, Burn is controlling Battler like a piece on a chessboard.
Alright.
Alright then.
Wait, Burn or Lambda?
I said Burn can apparently do this. I wonder if Lambda has done the same.
I mean,
I'm very curious how much influence they actually have. If it's total word-to-word influence, or if it's only somewhat influence. Can Burn puppet the pieces like a puppet? Or does it have to be influence?
I don't think this counts as puppeteering.
Influence, or giving them foresight.
So you do not think that she is controlling them like a doll?
Nope.
Moving them in the right direction, possibly, but not controlling them directly. Well, okay, maybe somewhat directly, but not overtly.
Oh, you roboted out hard there, Crim.
Super hard.
It's either influencing or foresighting.
Let me know when you're ready for me to go to the next part.
Alright.
Alright. If Burn can take control of pieces, what exactly are her restrictions? What can she not do?
This is Beatrice's game board, so probably the same restrictions that Beatrice had there in the first place.
Just that this seems like a new thing that Burn could do. I don't remember this being a thing before. Any thought?
I'm trying to think here. Sorry, I have heartburn. It's kind of hard to think whenever I have heartburn.
If I may ask the Inner Circle people, has this happened before where one of the meta characters takes control of a piece?
The entirety of Umineko.
I don't
literally the entire time.
Okay, so they have been. So this is not a new thing that has been introduced.
Essentially,
Technically, anything that has happened in any of the timelines is pretty much considerably, you could call it an action of Beatrice, or by now, of a witch in general.
Okay, because like the way it was described, there's like Byrne just made the Peace Battler smarter. And I find that.
Oh, okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on that one, actually. But what I will say is, well, keep in mind, like, they're playing the characters, so it might even be that they made them smarter. I don't know.
Because that is a bizarre amount of influence that made me think that she was possessing the piece.
Also,
It's
they've
not
made,
real possession.
They've made mentions before in the past of, like, it being somebody's quote-unquote turn, so they're taking actions in such a way.
Oh,
it's like moving. It's like moving
overspecified RP.
It's like moving a Fire Emblem character.
Or, like, chess.
That too.
Alright, should I go to my next thing?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Alright, want to make sure everybody had thoughts on. Do we know what happens if Kinzo's death is discovered early? How much did that throw a wrench into Beatrice's plans with the whole ritual? Does that throw a wrench into just Natsu's plans? Or will it make, when the killing starts, harder?
I think I might have a partial answer to that. You remember the first episode when Ava basically, actually, literally was asking that question and threw that actual wrench into the thing?
Wait, what?
Ava was kind of on the case that Kenzo was already dead at the get-go because of the whole, I didn't hear you talk to him in the first place and all that other stuff. So that's probably what... So it's a possibility that your question is that has already been answered, that yes, it probably already goes into action, that if Kenzo was already perceived to be dead, it kind of goes into this problematic concept of everything goes wrong.
Alright. Any other thoughts?
I may need a run back of that because I could not understand a word of what you guys were saying.
I said, what happens if Kenzo's death is discovered early? How does that interfere with Beatrice's and Natsui's plan? Because I imagine they each have their own individual plan.
Are you trying to hindcast it?
I don't know what that means.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused what you just said too.
Is that like podcasting it?
No, hindcasting. It's a logical thought. Or at least something crazy along those lines. How do I describe it?
You mean in hindsight?
Necessarily, yeah.
I'm looking up hindcasting.
This seems to be a math word.
It's whenever you're running a forecast model after an event to test whether the model may be true or not.
Is there a way is there a different word you can use?
No, none's coming to mind.
You could say I am trying to come up with a prediction, or maybe not prediction, but a what if. What are the consequences of the action of Kinzo's death being discovered early, and how would that influence the plots that are being made?
I can't really think of much outside of ruin the mystery.
Oh, there's a lot of mystery.
What I personally think is that there is situations where some of the deaths are caused in sequence order because of that particular unrevealing of that truth, or a partial variation of that truth being unrevealed.
Any other thoughts? I take it that as a no? Alright. Maybe this next one is nothing. Or maybe it is something, I don't know. It seems like there's a bit of a theme with characters enjoying specifically Western and Eastern things. Kinzo like Western things, Burn and Kraus like Eastern things. I'm wondering if this is just kind of a nothing thing, or if this is going to play a part. Did I say Burn? I meant Erica.
I mean, like there was like a one-off line about like, oh, Burn does prefer more Eastern like stuff. Like,
wait, was it Burn or Erica?
They've hinted at both at what we have seen. Like Erica freaking out over chopsticks, and Burn being like, "Oh, Burn prefers the moves of Shogi and stuff like that."
And also the thing with Erica liking Eastern things and her having a Western first name. This might be a nothing, though.
I think it's an interesting detail. Buck my tongue. To hold on to, at least for the future. Yeah, I said T-Dale.
Any other thoughts about that one? Alright, I will take it as a no. I want to confirm, is there any way that the headaches could be fake, or is it absolutely guaranteed that they're real?
Believe me... Oh, you first, Crimson.
I believe that it is sort of a mixture of stress and the fact that she's building up this toxin of repelling this, amenable fact of, yeah, that guy's been dead for a year. Giving her headaches. And
I might say something. I think the whole toxin thing is really just her refusal to accept delusions, or like her refusal to just ignore reality.
Yeah, I'm using it as a mental form of toxic, so yeah, that can happen to people when they put on stress on themselves too hard. They mentally put that strain on their minds and give themselves migraines. It's known as a stress headache.
I was just one thinking headaches could possibly be an excuse to explain away odd behavior, but I don't think that has happened.
Taking from somebody who actually has family members who do have those kinds of issues, it is possible to have a headache so severe that you could start hallucinating. The downside to that is it has to be so severe.
Let me get the knocks.
The downside is it would have to be so severe. Huh?
She's referring to me.
No.
Go ahead.
I have a sister who has severe headaches like that. And the only times you can actually... And I did do research on this, psychopharmacology and everything back in college. The only times you can actually get that is if it's so severe that you're having blackouts, or that it affects the rest of your body.
Thanks. So you think the headaches might be responsible in part for her delusions?
I think they may be at least a partial... Oh, what's the wording I'm looking for here?
Psychosomatic?
Yeah, possibly. And the delusions and everything that she's experiencing with these hallucinations are just an added-on tack bonus of all the stress. And possibly all this shock.
Even Kraus is suffering this sort of similar concept to that. Not feeling well, wanted to go to bed, also having his own mental problems.
I honestly think he just lied about being dizzy so he could get more rest in for the next day.
That's what he said.
Any other thoughts? I take that as a no. Alright. Yeah?
Is it time to start talking about potato salad again?
No, shut up.
No!
I know I was gonna bring it.
Anyway,
God.
I actually might have solved one part of the epitaph.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Did you?
I don't know why that's funny.
To do with hey, It's about the Japanese word for sweet fish. It's a word can be also translated to a different word, beautiful or gorgeous. Another place can be called that if you look at it a certain way, especially if you use another language. I'm implying that Kenzo might have actually had another place that he likes to go to, especially around the time frame when he was young. Formosa, aka Taiwan. That's the starting point of the epitaph.
When did they mention Taiwan?
They didn't. I'm using wordplays to solve the sweet fish riddle.
If I can be perfectly honest, Crimson, I was doing the same thing.
Wait, where does Formosa and Taiwan come from in the wordplay?
Spanish for beautiful.
Portuguese. It is the Ilha Formosa.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful island.
It's almost similar to Spanish and Portuguese to that word.
You think they're throwing in Spanish and Portuguese into this too, whenever they already got English and Japanese? Because boy, if so, that's something.
I was just playing around with kanji, but I'll get to that whenever we get to me on my points.
Mm-hmm. So my understanding, the way I'm thinking it, that's where the actual beginning point of the journey of the epitaph begins, because sweet fish is not this actual fish, but this is the hint that is where it starts.
Alright. I guess I'll go to the next thing then, in that case. I assume that the other answers will in part be from a perspective of another family member, as we are seeing it from Natsui's perspective currently. The main, starter of the shenanigans will probably be the perspective of the others. And I am very curious to which each episode, which family member it was. Does that make sense?
You mean the main focus?
Yeah, the main focus. Like, who's gonna be the Natsui of each chapter?
Probably Rosa would be the next one.
I mean, Rosa was the one that was, getting fucked up. I don't know if it'd be her. I don't think she was starting the shenanigans.
No
thoughts?
It could be any other character, but I'm not for sure yet.
That is all of my notes. Who going next?
I guess that would be me.
Shoot.
Okay. We got a lot of information this go around about the riddle and the epitaph. Mostly that it is wordplay. I got the original idea. I remembered in my other notes a couple months back that I had written down the entirety of the epitaph. So I started using my Japanese know-how and Google Translate, thank fuck, to try and translate the English into Japanese to see if it actually did help with it. One, that was a really bad idea because Google Translate doesn't really work well for kanji stuff.
Try using G-Show if you're
It doesn't work very good at all.
You mean Jishul? I know about Jishul. The downside is, when you're trying to translate something that's been translated from Japanese back into it, the meaning can easily get befuddled. So, I don't think I actually did mine right. I did start out from where Crimson point of view was, with ayu, which is this word for sweet fish. And from there, I started to look more at the characters for river. Then I decided to take a dumb route, and I took the first major kanji of each one of the knights, and I ended up getting a different sentence. Although, from how it sounds in English, it's pretty, pardon my language, dumb. It turned into the Yellow River and the key magic are cheap, and I highly doubt that has anything to do with the epitaph or anything else.
I mean, key magic sounds like an interesting phrase.
Possibly.
I don't know, like the moment I started seeing, oh god, will I actually need to start looking into language bullshit? Okay, I'm fine with just getting things wrong.
Huh.
I mean, the thing is that obviously these people are Japanese, so it's like doing like English riddles. You're not supposed to be translating to a different language if you're putting yourself into their shoes.
Like, the moment people start saying the word character, I'm like, okay, wait, like, character as in the people, or character as in the characters that you write with? Or is it both?
So I think what the riddle actually is that you're supposed to basically use a word cipher to basically tag out some words, and then use the remaining words, and then use an anagram to mix around the words.
Yep, pretty much.
So basically, imagine doing what we do as a anagram and ciphering, but for Japanese, it would confuse anyone that doesn't understand Japanese.
Which is why I feel like even I'm lost at this point. This funny thing, though, whenever I actually did get this translated, it came up to 11 characters. Exactly as many as Battler and Erica said there needed to be for this riddle. I also noticed something else. The character count if you're writing out Kuwa Dorian is 6 characters exactly. But that's only if you write it in hiragana. I don't know the katakana for it. So maybe Kuwa Dorian is the key? Minor note I had, and I highly doubt that it's authentic. What do you guys think?
What?
Huh?
Wait, think about what? What do I think about what?
Okay.
The idea that she just put down. It's interesting, but so in the third arc, the gold was hidden in the mansion where everyone hangs out, not the secret one, right? Or was it actually in the secret one?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Like, one could assume that it's in the secret mansion, but honestly, we don't know. It could be another secret
mansion, then that tracks. She said.
I do know there's a hint, though, about using actual atlas maps to basically define the location of the hidden treasure.
I was just mostly thinking, you needed the 6 characters to be sacrificed for the key. What if those same 6 characters are also the name of the location when you organize them out where the gold actually is located? At least where the Golden Land is located. Then they still would be the key that helps you get there.
Maybe a location of each stop?
If that's the case, then what were Battler and Erica doing?
Probably replicating the cartography map of the island of the actual map of the riddle. Like, you start off from the island of Taiwan, then chart out a map from whatever the key ciphers are, and then you basically end up the exact same direction from the actual mansion to the secret place that it holds the gold, or the Golden Land.
That seems to fit.
Sorry, how did you get Taiwan again? I forget, sorry.
Basically, I started to realize, wait, they're saying sweet fish, but yet it's sweet fish. Maybe they're using a wordplay of the word sweet fish. And when you basically look at it a different way, like using different kanji, sweet fish becomes a different word in the context of that word, meaning beautiful or gorgeous. Well, when you think about that and then saying, what places are similar to the word gorgeous within the time period of Kinzo basically being a child, like, I don't know, like the 40s or something younger, you realize there's actually only like a couple places that were called that nearby Japan. One of them was called Formosa. And what Noir basically said, Formosa is a Spanish word meaning, Portuguese word for beautiful. And you kind of go, it might be a possibility that he basically spent some time on this island called Formosa. Beautiful.
You know,
the sweet fish.
You know, that doesn't even sound dumb. That actually does sound clever.
There has to be some form of wordplay going on because they literally spouted out by saying the concept, it's not the sweet fish, but it is the hint of the sweet fish.
Like, normally when things sound like that level of complicated, I would normally think, that sounds dumb, but honestly, that sounds like it could track.
Possibly.
And also, they're using an atlas map. Why would you use an atlas map? An atlas is basically the concept of a world map.
You know, that actually reminds me of something. Ayu no Kawa.
Huh?
River of sweet fish, I think. Or sweet fish in the river?
Yeah.
Whenever I was trying to think of a way and both those popped in my head a couple months back, I realized some of the kanji, or at least some of the syllables, actually matched up with Kuwadorian. Maybe that line actually has the right amount of characters in it. And if you take away those certain characters, at least Kuwadorian from that section, it could lead to it?
Does Kuwadorian mean anything?
Not that I'm aware of. Something about berries?
Nine birds retreat.
Okay, thank you.
Alright.
Wait, 9 birds retreat?
That is the way that it is spelled, yes.
I'm tempted to try to look for things involving seagulls with the word bird, but honestly, I'm not gonna. There's a lot that could possibly be looked into with that name, and it's probably gonna lead to a lot of nothing for me.
Yeah, unless that's where you stop on the 9th night before you get to the 10th one.
Is this a reference?
These for the epitaph, maybe?
I thought that was like a Five Nights reference or something.
No.
Any other thoughts?
Just one. Mostly in that, does Erica seem as a good fit for a detective role to anybody else here?
I mean, a detective role doesn't necessarily need to act like a detective.
Maybe like for a children's show, maybe.
Well, she's certainly solving the riddles.
Like, she seems to be filling out the role.
Yeah, but does she have to be a bitch about it?
I mean, she
Yes.
doesn't have to not be.
Yeah, she's a little arrogant, but kind of,
Or petty?
I mean, it's not like she doesn't need to be.
The main reason she wanted to solve this riddle and afterwards in the first place was just so she could get one up on Jessica.
Could be a lie.
There's also just something nagging at me. The idea of coincidence.
Huh?
Natsuhi mentioned herself back in the study when she was talking or supposedly talking with everyone else in the magical area that there were too many coincidences happening at the same time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't coincidences not supposed to happen one after another in a traditional mystery? And before anybody says anything, I know this is not a traditional mystery.
Yeah, anything revolving around Knox's laws, it kind of skirts it a little bit, or just goes like tip, 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 partially breaking.
Well, you can go with the two options. One, it's magic miracles, or two, it's all set up.
Miracles aren't the same as coincidences.
I mean, it's supposed to be like a crazy thing that happens that
Like
for a
happenstance.
good reason or something. I mean, it could fit the bill of a substitute for coincidence.
There is also such a thing as having too much of a good thing, and that means too many coincidences make the mystery a bit dull or non-spontaneous.
I'm sure some shit's gonna pop up.
Well, it's... I hate using this example. Has anyone here ever seen Contact?
No.
I forget. I might remember, but
What about this is usually never a good lead-in question, but how does Contact relate?
Oh, wait. No, wrong film. Sorry. Sorry.
Try and do it.
Wrong film.
Wrong
film!
You see, Jodie Foster's dad being a weird alien illusion was very similar to Kraus, you see, in a way.
I think I was trying to reference the fact that a billionaire had also made, by coincidence, a similar multi-million-dollar spaceship on the other side of the planet, and nobody knew.
That is literally Contact.
What does that have to do with anything?
Good question.
Excellent question.
Wait, I want to hear this.
I think the line of reasoning I was going with was, if you have a massive coincidence like that happening in a mystery, such as such and such was, by coincidence, at least doing the same exact thing, doesn't that kind of kill some elements of the mystery for you?
Well, what do you think is happening?
What do I think is happening?
You're talking about, well, it's too crazy to not be a coincidence. So what is it not? So what is it? Like I said, it could either be like a magical miracle or it could be a setup.
I think that all would depend on whether or not things actually get more out of hand with Erica. I guess I'm just feeling uneasy about her being Berncastell's piece son on the game board.
What is making you uneasy?
It's Berncastell. She's proven to be far more sadistic this go-around than the other games prior.
If I would let you in on a little secret,
And
she
massively
was
petty.
always sadistic.
And petty?
Yep.
Okay, so where are you going with this line of reasoning, Kaneko?
My line of reasoning is, what if she does something that's still within the line of Beatrice's rules, but is obviously going against every rule involving the mystery genre that she so admires?
I have mentioned the idea of possibly breaking Nox's rules in this setting. Is that where you're going for?
Right. Just like in art, when you know the rules of art, you're allowed to break them.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you want to be a Dadaist, and in which case you're on your fucking own.
So you believe that she's going to break these rules?
Weird, though. You'd think she would play a bit more fairly.
Well, we don't really know how she's playing.
What rules do you think she's gonna break?
Alright. I look back over at my notes and things since I have a red leather notebook that my aunt gave me about back in high school. I'd written down not Nox's commandments on accident. My bad, I thought it was Nox, but I just remembered him from the Detectives Club, circa 1920s. Also bought Agatha Christie. Fun fact. But it turns out it was someone else's notes that I wrote down. 1 second while I open my book here. You hear it. See?
I hear the book. Are you page flipping right now?
Yes, I was page flipping. Here we are. S.S. Van Jane's 20 Rules for Detective Stories. Published it originally back in 1928? 29?
We don't need the publishing date.
Right, sorry. You learn a thing or two for UIL here in Texas.
Khan, if I may ask, can you make your point a little bit more concise?
Yes, of
Khan,
course.
where's this going?
Sorry, and thank you for reminding me. It's essentially 20 different not commandments, but ideas on set novel genre. And one of the ones I'm afraid that Berncastell might actually break with Erica being on the board is... Let's see if I can't actually find this in my handwriting. God damn it, why do I write in cursive?
Can you say it off the top of your, Can you say it off the top of your head?
The detective is allowed to declare any clues they find.
Are you just talking about Nox's rules of detectivism? Because I have that up here.
This is also one in Van Dyne's. And Denise? Fuck, I really cannot read my cursive.
Say again?
It's probably not that important.
Hey, does anybody else have any other theories they want to get to?
I already did my theories about what I said.
Con, is there like a way you can just like give us the cliff notes?
Okay, I guess the bottom line would be, I'm afraid that Bernkastel is obviously going to have Erica, or Erica's going to go rogue, probably be a non-traditional detective and break some of these rules.
Alright.
What do you guys
Why
think?
on earth is one of these rules saying that no Chinese people can pick your story?
We don't talk about
We're
Master
not going to
System
mention
Manual.
that.
Hold it!
I can actually explain that, but I
can
won't for
explain-
brevity's sake.
Please, dude, I'm an English major. Please let me explain this. I'll give you my blood!
Blood.
We don't need your blood,
It's
though.
incredibly simple. Back then, they made a lot of mysteries where the Chinaman was the culprit, so Nox put it in there to make things less racist.
No! You stole my thunder!
Yeah.
Con,
What do you
your
think the word
your thunder tends to be long.
Your thunder would have been 20 minutes longer. I'm going to be.
I intentionally did not use that fucking word, so okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why people don't like the word Mandarin.
They're from China.
I would have only taken a minute!
That's still too long.
Damn it!
Like, he did that in like
Alright.
10 seconds. Alright, we should
Okay, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up now, because
Or
we're
just
almost...
cutting it short again.
Well, I'm cutting you short for a reason. Like,
Okay.
hoochie mama, you guys are fucking going on for way too goddamn long. Good night,
it wasn't my
everybody.
fault.
Arrivederci.